Armored Core 6 is a breath of fresh air in an industry seemingly hell-bent on providing open-world experiences and seamless worlds. It is so refreshing to have a game like Armored Core 6 that is completely fine and thriving on the idea that it can provide a mission-based experience. I didn't realize how refreshing it was until I was watching an Asmongold video about Armored Core, and the topic was brought up, and I just kept thinking, you know what? Yeah. In a landscape of games that it almost seems right. Like, it seems like an advertising point to show off modern technology, that your game is as open and as seamless as humanly possible. And sometimes that comes at the cost of the actual gameplay loop. Instead of tight-knit, well-crafted experiences, you are forced to choke down, watered down, wide-open sections in the open world just to show off what the machine can do. And even when games do them right, it's nice to have a return to form, or return to basics, with a mission-based game like Armored Core, where each mission is different and varied. No two missions feel too similar to one another. They may reuse certain areas, but because of the objectives and the overall aesthetic of the scene, the mission still feels different. You can go into any mission with a different loadout and have completely different experience because of that. Your strategies and overall gameplay mix up. And that's refreshing, it's fun, it's exciting. It's one of the genuinely great things about Armored Core 6. And it's, funnily enough, coming off the back of Elden Ring for FromSoft. Yeah, different teams and whatever, but FromSoft put out an incredible open-world game that showcases the benefits of having an open world, and what it can be like when you have a game designed around the idea of having an open world, where that open world itself is the content, where you're supposed to sink your teeth in. However, with Armored Core 6, the game's broken up into various missions of different lengths, different styles, and different linear spaces. Some areas are far and massively wide open, where you're scaling giant complexes or boss fights themselves, or sometimes you navigate between various tight-knit corridors and hallways, or cave systems. The variety on offer with Armored Core 6 showcases that, even in the modern industry, you do not need to just jam-pack an open world into any game just to say that you are a modern video game. You don't need to do that. And in fact, mission-based games can succeed wildly well in the modern year. I'm normally an advocate of the idea that I don't really think that genres age out of existence, just ideas do. And while many companies will go and chase the money, some genres and ideas will be left in the dust. And these in-depth, mission-based-esque games was starting to become one of them. But I think Armored Core 6 really showcases, hey, this is a style of game that can be executed extremely well in the modern year. Look at the size and scale of some of these missions in Armored Core 6. They absolutely take my breath away. The game is gorgeous, and I love the lighting effects and the different aesthetics. Sure, the game is mostly snow levels or factory levels, but the way they're able to utilize the lighting and different scales they're just able to differentiate each mission and make it all of its own. So each mission has a different visual aesthetic to it, but each mission is also handcrafted to the gameplay experience that is on offer. And that perfectly works with the style of game that Armored Core 6 is, because Armored Core 6 benefits and works off the idea that you are swapping up your loadout on a mission-to-mission basis to suit the situation and the objectives and the challenges that you are facing at any given moment. So having the game be mission-based works perfectly well with that idea. Okay, so there's been a bit of a jump cut because, you know, when it rains it pours and all that. And I barely even remember where I left this video off, so in the essence of brevity, and so that I don't just keep rambling on, I think the beautiful thing that I love about Armored Core 6's level design overall, and the fact that it's mission-based, and that it elects to not go for an open world, is the idea of bringing variety back to these big budget games. Variety has always existed in the video game medium. It always will, always has, and still exists. Sometimes you just have to go looking for it, but you can find it out there. But when it comes to these larger-than-life, big-budget games, especially games from companies like FromSoft, who are in these like upper echelon companies in the industry at this point. It's nice to know that variety is not dead and that these companies and these developers are willing to try new things and to branch out. Even though FromSoft is technically going back to their roots with Armored Core, it is nice to see a return to form, and a return to form that doesn't try and eviscerate all that it did before in excellent ways, but butcher them all in the name of modernization. I think one of the things that has always gravitated me towards FromSoft games in particular, and especially Armored Core 6, is the fact that they don't baby you, they don't treat you like an idiot. They'll show you the ropes and give you ways to hone your skills if you want, but they'll really just not even give you training wheels outside of the first mission. They'll just say, okay, go. Here's a bunch of tools, find the ones right for the job, go have fun. And there's something oddly freeing about that, especially where it seems like in modern day gaming, so many companies want to put you on an on-rails experience and to almost guide your hand, afraid to really let go and let the player experience it for themselves. And I think that's one of the things we're starting to witness with games breaking out and becoming these massive phenomenon games in the industry. You have games like Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom. These games that let go of your hand and give you the ability to just have agency in your experience and in your game. Armored Core 6 is a very linear game in the terms of that it's mission-based, and each mission has an identifiable objective that you have to complete. Sometimes it'll give you an option or two as to how you want to progress the story, but normally you're going to get these missions and they'll be kind of fashioned in a linear style. And they may have some open-ish sections, but you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's not going to be an open-world experience. However, the variety and player agency comes into the idea of how you customize your AC for each of these engagements and for each of these missions. That's genuinely fun and interesting. Because I think what AC6 and Elden Ring side by side showcase is that in order to have and craft an experience that is fun and memorable for the player, that is also replayable, it does not have to rely on difficulty. It does not have to rely on being easy. It has to rely on giving the player the identity of being cool in the game, giving the player the ability to see something cool in the game and then have the ability to go out and get it. A boss may hit you with a chainsaw in Armored Core 6. You backtrack a little bit, you can find that exact same chainsaw. For Elden Ring, you fight a boss, that boss has a particular weapon art they utilize a lot, or a particular armor set or spell. You kill them, you can get that item, you can get that spell, you can get that gear or the weapon. It's rule of cool done correctly, and that's what Armored Core 6 really thrives off. The identity of being a giant robot is objectively cool. Why would we limit you in the ability to become a giant robot? The only thing I find oddly limiting is the idea that you can't dual-wield melee for some reason. I don't understand that one. But that's like my one gripe with the customization. The fact I can't have a melee weapon in both hands. I'm not entirely sure what the thought process was for that. You can have two, like have one on your shoulder, one in your hand, with one of the augmentations you can get. But I would like to be able to dual-wield pile blunt, because that'd be cool. Would it be optimal? Hell no. Would it be cool? Hell yeah. So I don't know what they were thinking in that regard, but outside of that, like, that one specific example, if you see it in the game, you can probably get it. And for your mech, at least. Can't become a giant worm, at least to my knowledge, but you see giant robots, you can destroy the giant robots, you can have some agency in how you progress the story, and each mission is like a puzzle, and your loadout is the solution, is the tool. If you want to bash your head against a wall for each of these individualized missions with whatever loadout you want, go right ahead. But the beauty of the mission-based design is that each mission is modular. Each mission is designed for specific attributes, has specific enemy compositions, has specific boss design, and each of these situations has pros and cons to them as to what you can utilize to your advantage. And that flows with the mission-based aspect of Armored Core 6. Because it doesn't need to be an open world. It doesn't need to wow you with the scale of everything. It can, because some of these missions have a great sense of scale to them. But they're handcrafted for that mission. And that makes them fit, makes them belong, and makes them flow together. And I think that's great. So I'm going to call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games if you can, and as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye bye everybody, till we meet again.